The rain passed by morning, leaving the world scrubbed clean. Dew clung to the grass, and soft sunlight filtered through the trees like it was afraid to disturb the peace. Inside the house, things felt lighter. Jungkook's meeting had gone well, more than well. Actually, the studio wanted to fully back his game with creative control in his hand, a few formalities, paperwork, a timeline, and he would be launching within the year. But that was not what had him hunched over his desk at 2 a.m. with the two empty energy drink cans and a focused glint in his eyes. Tonight was not about his game, it was about Taehyung. Across the room, Taehyung was fast asleep on the couch, tangled in a blanket, sketchbook on his chest, one barefoot peeking out from under the covers. His latest design, a sleek, gender natural streetwear set, lay draped across the armchair, unfinished but already stunning. Jungkook glanced at it, then back at his monitor. He was building something new, something important. By sunrise, it was ready. Taehyung woke up to the smell of cinnamon and coffee blinking groggily as he stretched. "You made breakfast?" he asked, voice scratchy. Jungkook looked up from the kitchen counter. "Store-bought roll and instant coffee. Don't get used to it." Taehyung smirked, dragging himself over. "Still cute." Jungkook slid a plate across the table, then hesitated. "I made something else too. Come see." Taehyung followed him to the office, hair wild, hoodie hanging off one shoulder. Jungkook sat him down in front of the monitor and hit a key. The screen flickered, a logo appeared. Vente, bold, clean, with sleek shroud of the flower blooming through barbed wire. Underneath it, site-loaded mock-up of Taehyung's design, digital sketches turned into retorting 3D renders, a big page, a blog section, a custom order tab, contact from social, a full website. His brand. Taehyung stared, mouth slightly open. "You built this?" Jungkook shrugged, suddenly self-conscious. "Yeah, last night. It is not perfect, but I coded it from scratch. We can buy the domain today. Link your social setup. A pre-order from for the pieces you are confident in. If you want to tweak the layout." He didn't finish. Then he launched himself at him, arm around Jungkook's neck, slapping into his shoulder. "You freaking genius!" he breathed. "You did this for me." Jungkook hesitated, then nodded. "You said you wanted your work to be seen. Now it can be." Taehyung pulled back slightly, just enough to look him in the eyes. "No one ever done anything like this for me before," he said quietly. Jungkook's gaze softened. "No one's ever deserved it more." The silence that followed was warm, intimate, electric. They stood there, inches apart, heart beating fast but steady. "You know," Taehyung said, voice a little shaky, "I have never really done this before." "What the genius?" Now Taehyung said, laughing nervously. "I mean, I never liked anyone this like you. You never. No excess, no playing, just a lot of deadlines and fake confidence." Jungkook exhaled slowly. "Me neither." Taehyung tilted his head. "So we are each other's first?" Jungkook nodded. "Yes, so cool." Taehyung looked away, terrifying but cool. "Yeah." Then very gently Jungkook reached for Taehyung's hand, laced their finger together. "I don't know how this is supposed to go," he said honestly. Jungkook looked back at him, eyes shining. "Me neither, but I would like to figure it out with you." Jungkook's thumb brushed over Taehyung's knuckle. "Then let's start. Not with a kiss, not yet, just with hands held, promise unspoken, future slowly unfolding." In a quiet house on a hill, two boys who had never been loved right were staring something neither of them had a name for, but it felt real, and that was enough. There was the rhythm now. Taehyung woke up to the sound of typing and the smell of burnt toast. Jungkook would deny responsibility for both, but Taehyung always caught him red-handed, hand covered in crumbs, eye glued to his screen. Their days blurred between chaos and comfort, designing, coding, arguing over playlist choice, sneaking snacks during deep work session. Nights were quiet but softer, and the space between them, it was shrinking. It started small, a shade blanket on the couch. When the heater gave out, Taehyung's leg resting on the Jungkook's laps while sketching. Jungkook falling asleep with his head against Taehyung's shoulder during a movie. Nothing that screamed romance, but everything about it whispered closer. One night, Taehyung was cutting fabric on the floor, humming softly to a vintage R&B track. Jungkook was debugging a tricky section of game dialogue. His finger pushed when Taehyung stretched his shirt, lifting just enough to reveal a silver of pale skin above the waistband of his sweats. He looked up immediately. "Too late. You checking me out?" Taehyung smirked without looking up. "No," Jungkook said, "a little too fast. You are a terrible liar too. And you are not wearing actual pants." Taehyung grinned. "You are welcome." Jungkook rolled his eyes, but there was a faint flush on his cheeks. Later that night, as they lay on opposite end of the couch, Taehyung rolled onto his side facing Jungkook. You ever think about what happens after this? Jungkook blinked. Afterward, this house, this moment in time, what happens when your game blows up and you're suddenly the hotshot alpha due on magazine's cover. I stay me, Jungkook said simply, and I take you with me if you will come. Taehyung's breath hitched just a little, even if I'm still figuring things out, especially then. Their eyes locked. The storm that had been building for weeks suddenly hung heavy in the space between them. Something wanted to happen, grabbed it. Taehyung moved first. He leaned in slowly, eyes flickering to Jungkook's mouth. Jungkook didn't move, didn't breathe. They were a breath apart when Taehyung's phone buzzed loudly between them. The moment snapped like a wire stretched too thin. Taehyung flopped back with a gun covering his face. I'm gonna burn that thing, Jungkook just said. They stunned, still feeling the ghost of kiss that never happened. Next time, Taehyung muttered, half teasing, half begging the universe. Jungkook's voice was low when he said he had next time. That night, when they went to bed, Jungkook pushed outside Taehyung's room. Hey, he said. Taehyung opened the door, rubbing his eyes. What's up? Jungkook stepped closer. You are the first person I ever wanted to be this close to. Taehyung blinked, then softly. Me too. Jungkook reached out, finger brushing down Taehyung's arm, then catching his hand, finger laced for just a second. No kiss, no confession, just that touch, and for now it was enough.